Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, The Life of Ajamil. And this is taking up at text 15. I was born in the darkness and darkest of ignorance. My spiritual master has opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my most humble, respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So, we'll begin here at text 15. And this is Sukadeva Goswami discussing with Maharaj Parikshit, enlightening Maharaj Parikshit, sharing with Maharaj Parikshit, transmitting messages of love of Godhead to Maharaj Parikshit, who is a qualified person to hear the messages of Bhagavatam. He's surrendered to his spiritual master, and so he's hearing with full faith and surrendered position, like Arjuna, a surrendered position to Krishna. Arjuna said, I see no way out of my situation. I'm in a situation where I have to, everyone that I hold dear in this world is on the other side, and I'm supposed to fight this battle. And everything I hold dear, everything of any value to me in this world, I'm supposed to destroy. All those people, my teachers, my relatives, my friends, I'm supposed to fight and kill them? I see no way out of this. I'd rather just hop around in the forest and eat berries the rest of my life than, what use is, why do this? He could see no way out of his situation. His mind tried to find some solutions, that it goes against all tradition, and that it won't be good for coming generations because these people are important people for world management. They're leaders. They have other people depending on them. And so many men will be killed in the battle. And then the women will be left unprotected. And then for generations, there'll be bad progeny. So his mind was coming up with all these reasons why not to. But because it was Krishna's will, ushering in the age of Kali Yuga, it was Krishna's will, he had to fight this battle. But he could see no way out of it. So he was asking for enlightenment. And then we have the Song of God, the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna reveals himself, who he is, what he wants, how and why things are going on, and how the material energy is an illusion. It's a platform of activity that is filled with misery and suffering, and is not the only platform of activity that's available to the living entities. There is another platform of activity, spiritual platform, where there is none of this birth, death, old age, and disease, and these kinds of miseries and hopelessness and despair. There's no threat of extinction. repeated birth and death. So Parikshit Maharaj is in a similar situation. He sees no way out. The forecast is there. He will be dying in 7 days. He only has 7 days left. This is a fact. There's no way out. And so he's in a very helpless position, and he's asking, okay, this is nothing I can do about this, so please enlighten me. And so Sukadeva Goswami, having heard Bhagavatam from his father, Srila Vyāsadeva, the compiler of the Bhagavatam, is relating to him this Srimad Bhagavatam, the message of love of God. So, text 15. Only a rare person who has adopted complete, unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. Wow, what a beautiful verse. Let's do the Sanskrit. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya Vyāsadeva Purāṇa agam dunvanti kartsnena niharam iva bhakshara. So, say only a rare person. So we find similar description in the Gita, that out of many thousands among men, excuse me, out of many millions of people, one may try for perfection, and of those, maybe a few thousand become liberated. And out of those, hardly even one knows me in truth. Rare, a rare person who has adopted complete, unalloyed, devotional service to Krishna. We also find that Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also confirms pure devotional service is rarely achieved. And Prabhupada compared it to going hunting for a rhinoceros. Because in the village, if someone catches a rhinoceros, then everyone is totally amazed, because rhinoceros is very difficult to catch. So he becomes very famous. Wow, he caught a rhinoceros. So pure devotional service is compared to that. It's like going for the rhinoceros. But here it says that is the only platform of pure devotional service, unalloyed, that can actually uproot the weeds of sinful actions so that they will revive. Previously, Sukadeva Goswami related, upon being questioned by Parikshit Maharaj, he related the shortcomings of simply atonement. Because the atonement performs some atoning activity, either give some charity or do some welfare work, community service, make some sacrifice for atonement. austerity, whatever, it doesn't uproot the root of the sinful desire. So what is seen is you go back and perform the same sinful activity again, and come back and pay some fine, and then go back. Because the root of the problem is the sinful desire. And the only thing that can uproot the sinful desire is complete, unalloyed, devotional service to Krishna. It says, then there's no possibility they'll revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service. Just as the sun immediately dissipates fog by its rays, by discharging devotional service, performing devotional service. It's not that one is expected to be pure and then engage in devotional service. You have to become pure first. No, the means and the end are the same. By engaging in acts of pure devotion, one is situated on the platform of devotional service. And Krishna within the heart accepts the service. And then the taste develops for serving Krishna. You begin to experience the transcendental relationship, the spiritual relationship of the small individual spirit soul in relationship to the soul of all souls, the Supreme Lord. And that experience is like the sun lighting up the day when there's fog. There's something there, but you can't quite see what it is. It's very foggy. And as the sun comes up, little bit, different patches in the fog start to clear up. And pretty soon, the whole picture is visible. It's like approaching a mountain from a very distant place. As you get closer and closer to the mountain, it becomes more in focus until you're actually close enough to the mountain that you can distinguish the plants, the trees, the animals, maybe the people that are living there. So this performing devotional service, it dissipates the fog as we're engaged on the transcendental platform. And Krishna is accepting the service. At this stage of devotional service, where we're practicing, it's very important to follow the guidance of a realized soul, an actual spiritual master, someone who is already on this platform of pure devotional service. Under their guidance, performing these devotional services, hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshiping, serving, making friends with, serving the lotus feet, and giving everything to the Lord. There are 9 basic types of activities described by Prahlad Maharaj, who is a pure devotee. Under the guidance of someone who is on that platform, sure not to deviate by taking shelter of their guidance and their instruction. Such a person who is in touch with the Lord within the heart, like that, in pure devotion, it's the same Lord within their heart that is within the heart of the candidate or the disciple. And that's what is being revived, is that relationship. And the Lord is there within the heart. That's why the spiritual master is the guide. He's not accepting any service for himself, accepting service on behalf of the Lord within the heart. So one, the spiritual master is serving in full knowledge, and the disciple is serving in somewhat of a blind state. They're still in the fog, and they have so many desires from so many lifetimes stored up in the mind that have to be uprooted. So one is in full knowledge, and the other is still tempted by the fruits of material sense enjoyment, either gross or subtle. And that's when we hear that example of the bird with the two birds in the tree. It's like within the heart of everyone, there's two birds. It's like two birds. It's any little example. One bird is in full knowledge, and that bird is Paramatma. And the other bird is tempted by the fruits of the material sense enjoyment. The body is like a tree, and it's presenting different fruits through the different senses to try and taste these things through the material body. It's in forgetfulness. That bird is in forgetfulness of his spiritual nature. When he turns to the other bird, the Paramatma, and the other bird can guide him out of this predicament of constant temptations for material sense enjoyment, and engage the disciple in spiritual platform. You don't even need a material body for the spiritual platform. But by engaging the material body and mind in acts of devotional service, you become spiritualized. This is a great science of bhakti yoga. Self-realized soul knows the science of bhakti yoga. So Prabhupada's commentary. Got a decent-sized commentary here. Jai. This is the realized soul, Srila Prabhupada. He lives in his books and his instructions. In the previous verse, Sukadeva Goswami gave the example that the dry leaves of creepers beneath a bamboo tree may be completely burnt to ashes by a fire, although the creepers may sprout again because the root is still in the ground. Yeah, if anyone's ever seen bamboo, they have a really, really persistent root system, at least some varieties of bamboo. They're pretty invasive, certain varieties. Similarly, because the root of sinful desire is not destroyed in the heart of a person who's cultivating knowledge, but who has no taste for devotional service, there is a possibility that his sinful desires will reappear. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Shreya Shrutim Bhaktim Udasyate Vibho Klishyanti Ye Kevala Bodha Labdaye. Speculators who undergo great labor to gain a meticulous understanding of the material world by distinguishing between sinful and pious activities, but who are not situated in devotional service, are prone to material activities. They may fall down, become implicated in fruitive activities. Yeah, this is good, that's bad. But good for what and bad for what? Oh, good for my sense enjoyment. Oh, bad for my sense enjoyment. Pious activities, oh, I'll get a nice reward. I will go to the heavenly planets, so that's good. Then I'll enjoy my sense activities. Oh, impious activities, oh, that's bad. I'll be getting a very severe negative reaction for that, and have to suffer in so many different situations. Oh, that's bad for my sense my sense enjoyment. So they're distinguishing between sinful and pious activities, but what's the basis of the distinguishing? Oh, my sense enjoyment, my material pleasure, because after all, I'm the body and the mind. So if one becomes attached to devotional service, however, his desires for material enjoyment are automatically vanquished without separate endeavor. Because of the taste one gets from devotional service. The senses become spiritualized by practicing engaging the senses and the mind in Krishna's service. Becomes spiritualized. So the desire for material sense enjoyment dissipates. It's like a faded black and white picture, and the spiritual pleasure in relationship to Krishna is like all around sound technicolor, HD. It's just not particularly attractive. Well, that's just one way to think of it, but it's more than that. It's a whole other thing. But bhakti para shan ubhavo viraktir anyatra cha. If one is advanced in Krishna consciousness, material activities, both sinful and pious, automatically become distasteful to him. Yeah, it's not that they're just unattractive. They're actually foul. They have a foul they want to avoid them. They taste bad. They don't bring pleasure at all. They're actually a distraction from the actual pleasure of bhakti. This is the test of Krishna consciousness. Both pious and impious activities are actually due to ignorance, because a living entity, as an eternal servant of Krishna, has no need to act for his personal sense gratification. Therefore, as soon as one is reclaimed to the platform of devotional service, he relinquishes attachment for pious and impious activities and interested only in what will satisfy Krishna. Yeah, the material world is the world of duality. Hot and cold, good and bad, up and down, win and lose, positive, negative. It's all opposites. So, and the mind, accept and reject. But there's no need for that. If one's engaged in devotional service, that stops. All that accepting and rejecting stops. And so the mind doesn't really have that type of engagement anymore, accepting and rejecting, in terms of one's personal sense enjoyment. Because by engaging in serving Krishna, that dynamic stops, because there's no need to try to calculate how we'll get some profit. See, since my personal sense enjoyment is how I'm trying to profit from a situation. That's where the lust and greed manifest from. I'm trying to get some personal gain, to isolate myself as me, my, mine, I, me, in terms of a material identity without relationship to Krishna. So in order to do that, I have to engage with the material energy. My body, my this, my that, I, me, my nose, my ears, my whatever. In relationship to Krishna, serving Krishna, it's not that the ego disappears completely. We always have ego, we just don't have false ego. We have real ego. And there's no separation from Krishna. Like swimming in the ocean. Spirit soul swimming in the spiritual ocean. Individual, but not separate. This is the inconceivable aspect of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva. Simultaneously one and different. Sparks in the fire. Speculators who undergo great labor to gain a meticulous understanding of the material world by distinguishing between sinful and pious activities, but who are not situated in devotional service, are prone to material activities. They may fall down, become implicated in fruitive activities. If one becomes attached to devotional service, however, his desires for material enjoyment are automatically vanquished without separate endeavor. Now that's so here that for the devotee, liberation is there automatically. There's no need for separate endeavor for liberation. And similarly, there's no separate endeavor necessary for sense gratification. Bhakti parasanabhavo viraktir anyatracha. If one is advanced in Krishna consciousness, material activities, both sinful and pious, automatically become distasteful to him. That's the test of Krishna consciousness. Both pious and impious activities are actually due to ignorance, because a living entity, as an eternal servant of Krishna, has no need to act for his personal sense gratification. Therefore, as soon as one is reclaimed to the platform of devotional service, he relinquishes his attachment for pious and impious activities and is interested only in what will satisfy Krishna. Yeah, that's the watering the root of the big tree. The leaf and the stems and the branches and the blossoms and the fruits and everything that may be part of the tree are nourished by watering the root of the tree. So there's no need for separate endeavor. I have to water the leaf, I have to water the fruit, I have to water the branches. Everything connected to the tree is best served by watering the root of the tree. So the leaf is part of the tree. In one sense, it is the tree. It's one with the tree. but it's also separate from the tree, in the sense that it has a separate function that it performs in relationship to the tree. So, simultaneously one and different from the tree. It's distinguished by service, the service that the leaf performs. And when it's separated from the tree, it dries up.